people of every race, color, and creed, people coming from the many different republics that comprised the Soviet Union, people speaking more than 100 different languages, but all citizens of one country.
Men have a critical role to play in demanding and supporting this societal shift.
Catalyst. Workplaces that work for women. Catalyst seeks a world that supports and encourages every woman in her career aspirations and places no limits on where her skills and energy can take her. This is our vision and goal, and it knows no numeric, stereotypic, or geographic boundaries. Yet we are mindful of cultural sensibilities. It reads like the board of directors for Internationalists Incorporated, Halliburton, Monsanto, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, Walmart, Deutsche Bank, Northrop Grumman, the major players of big oil, big pharma, and big finance. Their membership list contains the 4 largest non-national oil companies, the 3 largest pharmaceutical companies, and 4 of the top 5 largest military contractors in the world. In addition to the 4 largest banks in the U.S., as well as major banks outside of the U.S., such as Deutsche Bank and even Deutsche Telekom. The signatories of this group hold a major portion of the entire global economy in their hands. They meet with presidents and prime ministers in private no-press gala events, give out feel-good awards, and hold company presentations on issues of diversity, gender equality, white privilege, male privilege, and other so-called intersectional ideas. The Catalyst organization works with the Clinton Global Initiative, has held dinner events for Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, and even brought Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to Waldorf Astoria in New York City only months after taking office, at a dinner sponsored by Target Corporation, UPS, General Motors, Harman, Juniper Networks, and Royal Dutch Shell, at an event created by Gap Incorporated. It was there that Trudeau delivered this infamous line.
Now, many of you know I am a feminist and proud to call myself one. I know and believe that women can do and be anything they want. Men need to act, to set examples, and to be role models too. My wife, Sophie, recently reminded me of this very point. Sophie reminded me recently that I need to spend just as much time and effort engaging with my sons, talking to them about feminism and the importance of equality. Men have a critical role to play in demanding and supporting this societal shift. We need to speak out in support of gender equality. And gentlemen, we need to get comfortable identifying ourselves as feminists.
These globalist ideologies, funded and promoted by non-governmental organizations and corporate philanthropic foundations, have supplanted and subverted the labor movement since at least the late 70s through to the 1980s, and pioneered some of the predominant beliefs and trends of our time, and perpetuate the propaganda into the modern era. Catalyst acts as a bridge between corporate interests and political power through distribution of information and educational material, such as how to create and utilize a workplace diversity council. First step, diversity councils. Highly qualified businesswoman Annie Hedge says, "I would very much like to read this report. This report is open to the public and is easy to access by clicking the download button. Michael Chamberlain mansplains to her. Diversity councils are popular vehicles for creating organizational change and help provide focus to diversity and inclusion initiatives. Diversity and inclusion initiatives are intended to increase the demographic diversity of employee populations and/or to leverage such diversity to improve organizational performance. Diversity councils, as part of a strategic diversity management plan, are an inclusive and effective mechanism for managing these changes. A diversity council is a group of employees, including senior leaders or executives, that acts on behalf of the company to jumpstart and manage diversity and inclusion progress. While diversity councils do have the power to shape and modify organizational structure, they, of course, do not immediately solve all problems related to diversity and inclusion. This is special interest lobbyist material. Although this particular detail has been outdated since I gathered the research some years ago, it will suffice to show the concentration of power within this organization. It's demonstrated by the Catalyst membership list that the largest employers and financial bodies in the world are backing this ideology. On the surface, they seem to be about fairness, diversity, equality. But what interest does a corporation have in that? Instead, these entities use the average person's empathy and exploit them for their ulterior motives. And what are the motives of a corporation? Like any multi-billion-dollar company, this Quebec-based Canadian cooperative credit union wants to import workers for personal profit.
We believe that with the size of the financial institutions already present in Montreal, we can develop programs which will benefit a lot to some of our people, and that this will help to bring Montreal as being more competitive. Finally, what we want to do also is to retain in Montreal local talent and help professionals from other parts of the world to come here and to stay in Montreal, because at the end of the day, financial services is about people.
Desjardins is a major financial institution in Canada. It's actually related to a credit union I've used since I was a teenager. And their Catalyst board representative was one of the easiest to find information on. I just want to show you a bit of her biography. As chair of the board, president, and CEO of Desjardins Group, Monique Leroux represents all Desjardins cases and leads the largest cooperative group in Canada, the 6th largest in the world. Leroux is an active member on multiple boards of directors throughout Canada, including the Canadian Council of Chief Executives and the Founder Council of the Quebec Global 100 Network. Recently, she was appointed by the Prime Minister of Canada to sit on the Advisory Committee on Public Service. Leroux is also a member of the Order of Canada. She has received numerous awards for the various boards she is on, including the Woodrow Wilson Award and the Centre Jacques Cartier Medal. Monique holds honorary doctorates from a number of Canadian universities, and she enjoys working with non-profit organizations, academic committees, and public advisory committees. I'm going to go down to her full bio now. This is what I really wanted to show you. Skipping over what we've already read, Ms. Leroux also chairs the Council Québécois de la Coopération et de la Mutualité and is a member of the Board of Directors of Cooperatives and Mutuals Canada. She is a member of the Board of Directors of the International Cooperative Alliance, member of the Board of Directors and the Executive Committee of the European Association of Cooperative Banks, Vice President of the Presidential Committee, and a member of the Executive Committee of the International Conference of Popular Banks, and a member of the Board of Credit Mutuel's subsidiary CIC Credit Industriel et Commercial. She is also a member of the Global Agenda Council on the Role of Business in the World Economic Forum and the HEC's Montreal's Council of Governors, the Desaultais Factory Advisory Board at McGill University, and the Governing Board of Finance Montreal. Ms. Leroux also sits on the Advisory Committee on the Public Service, appointed by the Prime Minister of Canada, on the Catalyst Canada Advisory Board, and is a member of the Canadian group of the Trilateral Commission. She is a founding partner of the Quebec International Summit of Cooperatives. Ms. Leroux is a member of the Order of Canada, an officer of l'Ordre National de Quebec, and has received the titles of Chevalier de Légion d'Honneur and Chevalier de l'Ordre de la Pléiade, the Woodrow Wilson Award, the Chanteur Jacques Cartier Medal, and the Outstanding Achievement Award from l'Ordre des CPA. She holds honorary degrees from a number of Canadian universities. She is a Fellow of the Ordre des CPA du Québec, past President of the Ordre des Comptables Agréés de Québec, and has served on the Board of Governors of the Canadian Institute of Chartered Accountants. She is currently the President of Desjardins Foundation and was the President of the Canada Summer Games Sherbrooke in 2013. She will also co-chair the 2014 annual fundraising campaign at Centraide of Greater Montreal.
A workplace that works for women is a place where a woman can show up and just be her whole self.
Whenever you have a workplace that works for women, it's a workplace that works for everybody. We wanted to shine a light on what it means to have women rise up through the ranks.
Lighting up our office buildings with the female gender symbol sends a message that women actually belong in those workplaces.
So it's good for business, it's good for women, it's good for society, it's good for companies. Having women in leadership and sharing power is a win-win-win.
I think that by those organizations placing this symbol so front and center and publicly sends a statement that women are more than welcome, that they're needed.
When women see our buildings lit up around the world, I really hope they feel a sense of empowerment, a sense of excitement, and I hope that they realize that they're not in this alone.
I think when I see a critical mass of anything, I see society getting behind something in a way that is not just incremental betterment. There's a movement, and it's really hard to shut movements down.
It's a visual commitment to the fact that they're standing with us to build more diverse, more inclusive, more equal workplaces for women all over the world.
Over the last year, we've gone from seeing the fearless girl standing up by herself to women coming together, standing up against sexual harassment, to this important symbol on International Women's Day 2018 of businesses standing up with women. These buildings where women work and aspire to be successful are beacons of hope for women and their careers.
It's empowering. It makes me feel a great deal of pride.
Any message they promote with such powerful, influential bodies needs to be heavily questioned and warily watched. Their motives cannot simply be taken at face value. So then, where is all of this going? Who profits? And how? When is the last time you heard talk about a labor movement, collective bargaining, and workers uniting? Instead, the workplace is divided by race and gender, by quotas and a never-ending pursuit to close a non-existent wage gap. You will hear about the percentage of female CEOs and minorities in upper management roles. Even minimum wage has been described as a racial issue. Catalysts themselves promote this division through their MARC program. Are you a white man in the workplace? Then it's your responsibility to be a mark. A real mark, like this Chad mark pictured here, knows there is no such thing as a gender pay gap. It's here to bring us 5 myths about the gender pay gap busted. Do you have the answers for these 5 myths about the gender pay gap? If you want to be a Chad mark, you better know the answer. 1. There is no such thing as the gender pay gap. 2. Women are paid less because they have less experience. 3. Women are paid less because they have less education. 4. Women are paid less because they don't ask for raises. 5. Women are paid less because of the kind of jobs they take. If not, check out a great refresher on the facts of the gender wage gap. How can you be a mark? Educate yourself, shitlord. Don't rely on women colleagues to learn about gender inequality. By crippling group bargaining, the giant internationals stifle wages, paying everyone less, and having justification and even admiration for it. But above all, they do it to make socialism personally profitable.
Men have a critical role to play in demanding and supporting this societal shift.
Today, we celebrate Women's Day. Women's Day was originally called International Working Women's Day. It is part of the United Nations Planet 50/50 program for gender equality. It is a call on citizens and governments to step it up and take action. The Alliance is enthusiastic about the United Nations 50/50 program. The UN have made equality a full part of the Sustainable Development Goals.
People of every race, color, and creed. People coming from the many different republics that comprised the Soviet Union. People speaking more than 100 different languages. But all citizens of one country.